When you know that you're eventually going to die, you realize that your life is just a rental. And when it's a rental, you come to life with nothing and you leave with nothing.
It is one of the biggest taboos out there, and yet it's also one of the two big certainties in life. Most people really find it very difficult to talk about or even think about death, while it is actually the biggest reason why we should live life to the fullest, to enjoy every moment while it lasts. So today I'm talking to Mo about death and happiness, and that sounds a little weird, but there's a huge connection there. So Mo, why do you think that death is such a big taboo in the Western world?
Death is a big fear because it's unknown. We don't know for certain. We don't know, even those of us who are spiritual will sort of have a story, a narrative of what happens to us after we die, but it's not really proven. And unfortunately, and fortunately, we in the Western world, we believe in the scientific method. Most of what we do is about, if I can measure it, I can build a hypothesis about it, I can then prove the hypothesis, and then I've discovered science. Okay? Now the problem with death is I can't measure it. I can't measure what happens on the other side. We have people that go through near-death experiences and come back, and they all report similar stories. But then we don't really know if that's a near-death experience. Do they go to another place like they say, or where there is light and tranquility and love and so on, or is it the brain shutting down? And so it's so unknown and it's so unexplained that we sort of shy away from it because it scares us. Interestingly, there are other societies around the world that are not scared of death at all. As a matter of fact, the Sufis, when someone dies, would have a celebration. It's like a wedding. It's like my son has moved to another dimension where he's born. The Buddhists and the Hindus and the Taoists and so on will believe that your old body is decaying and you're getting back in a new body. The Mexicans will have the Day of the Dead. And that is an interesting, different perception of the topic that celebrates death as part of life. From a science point of view, death and life and birth are actually easily understandable in that context. Death is not the opposite of life. Death is the opposite of birth. Because you can easily see that you come into this form that we are, the physical form, through a portal that's called birth, and you leave this physical form through a portal that is called death. But life remains before, during, and after. Life is not physical. And you can see that when my wonderful son left. You can see that there was this beautiful, animated personality that is wise and alive. And it had something in him that was more than his physical cells. And when that something separated, call it spirit, call it soul, call it whatever you like, but when that something non-physical separated from his physical form, what remained was not my son. And then a few days later, that remained decayed. And we have to start asking ourselves, what is it that animated Ali? What is it that animates me that will one day separate from this physical form? If you know what that is, you would realize that whatever you call it, soul, spirit, consciousness, is life. This is life. The real essence of me is always there. When you see death this way, suddenly death becomes just another level in the video game. And suddenly it's not that scary anymore. And when you see death as a certainty that we will all go through, suddenly it doesn't become scary anymore, because you know what? Being scared is an alert signal that tells me to take action. Yeah, I can be cautious and careful, but I will never prevent death. I may delay it by being careful. I may take a little longer period of my life while I'm healthy and active, but at the end of the day, we will all die. It's going to happen. And that's what positions death as a teacher, not as a threat. It's a teacher. It tells you something amazing. One day, you're going to leave us. Until that day, you're alive. So live. Yeah. Seriously, don't think about that day and when that day comes. Don't think about those who left us. Think about now. Think about living now so that when you get to that day when you leave and join those that we love that left us, you've lived this level of the game fully. You've collected coins in the Super Mario Brothers terms of the game. Huh? You've collected as much positive karma as you could. Because you know what? It sounds to me that this concept of karma is like, it's a bit of a physics law, really, that nothing goes to waste, that your good deeds remain.
It will continue in another form.
Yeah, like Mario, maybe we're collecting coins so that in the next level, I start the level with a slightly better advantage.
And you get an extra Yoshi then, maybe in the next level.
Yes, exactly. Serious gamers do that.
What is there about death that can teach us?
When you know that you're eventually going to die, you realize that your life is just a rental. And when it's a rental, you come to life with nothing and you leave with nothing. Just like you come into a new place and you spend time in it, but you're bound to leave it. If you're bound to leave it, what's the wise thing to do instead of hanging on to it? Is to enjoy it. Is to say, I'm going to fully embrace that place, fully embrace every experience I can get in it. And then when it's time to leave, I will look at it lovingly, thank it for being my home, and then move on to the rest of my life, which is what we now call death.
Yeah, that's amazing. I hope I get to that point that you're so easy to describe. Love it. Thank you so much for this topic.